Welcome back to Classic Game Room, the podcast. On the road today. That's right, I'm out and about. This is the Classic Game Room podcast on the go. I'm about to make my way to Velum Fermentation in Pittsburgh, a brewery that has an arcade. Now, this is a thing that we need more of. More breweries need arcades. And they have like a complete arcade, and I'll be talking about this, as I'm not going to focus on any one game in particular. This is about the experience of going to a brewery with an arcade. And I was trying to come up with a clever title for this podcast, but I don't really have one. So instead, I think I'm just going to call it It's Thursday in that, which would be the proper Pittsburgh thing today. Southside in Pittsburgh, that's right. After you've passed the age of 30, once you've survived carousel, in general, it's like you're too old to go to Southside. But are you? Like, there's other stuff over here.
That's right, and that's what I'll be doing in today's Classic Game Room, the podcast. Welcome, listeners, on whatever platform it is you're listening to this on. Turn up the volume because we're about to get a few beers, play some pinball and video games. It's Thursday. And that.
So everybody in Pittsburgh has like a Southside story. Anybody from Pittsburgh or anyone who went to school in Pittsburgh has their Southside story that usually starts with, well, I left Jack's at 2 a.m. and ends with either somebody urinating on a police car, getting thrown in jail, or both. Now, as far as I know, I haven't done any of those things. Certainly not for a while. But what I am going to do is take you all through an adventure to Velum Fermentation. So look that one up. And here's a pro tip. I think it's VELUM. Here's a pro tip. If you have tokens from Coupe de Ville or Kickback, they also work at Velum. And there's a reason for that. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But right now I need to get on my car. I need to walk like 200 yards. Found a spot there. One of the cool things about Velum is there's free parking, but it's on the south side. So I'm here in the evening, but it's Thursday, so it's not too crazy. You got to kind of hunt for a parking spot. And like the Pittsburgh tradition is to leave folding chairs out if somebody else wants that parking spot, like if it's in front of their apartment or whatever. But I found a spot without a folding chair. Not like a folding chair is going to stop a car anyway, but it's still a thing that people do. Ooh, there's some Southside vegetation over there. And by that I mean there's like a Coors Light Can smashed into the concrete. This is a really beautiful night. I'm trying to describe it to you. Like the sun is setting right in front of me. It's like 7:30. There's the roar of motorcycles in the distance. People hanging out in their balconies, drinking beer, vaping, or doing whatever people do that are younger than 30. I don't know. And there's like this really big clock over here on my left as I'm walking towards Velum, which is in a warehouse. So it's like this giant warehouse with a climbing gym above it. It's a huge warehouse. One thing we have many of in Pittsburgh is warehouses. And I'm not sure what building that is, but there's like this enormous clock building behind it. It just seems kind of out of place. So I don't know if you're here and for some reason if you're in town, you're like, I want to go find that place, but I'm still living in 1989 and don't have a smartphone with a map, so you can find the location by spotting the giant clock next to the flattened Coors Light Can.
So I'm walking toward Velum. They've got a food truck up front, some nice fire pits. And while it's not nearly as crazy as, say, a Saturday night at 1 a.m, there's a bunch of people out and about doing, what people do.
It smells like weed, alcohol, and pinball, which smells like victory. Let's get some. It's quiz night. I'm not here to challenge my intellect. I'm here to challenge my pinball and video game skills and crush my thirst. It's a big brewery, but it looks so tiny in this enormous warehouse. This is huge. This is like the kind of warehouse you would see in Robocop. Now that I have my beer, it's time to play pinball. And right there in front of me, speaking of Robocop, oh, there's Doug, who literally owns these machines. Hi, Doug. I'm doing my podcast right now.
Right now?
Right now.
Wow.
Hey, I was about to say something about it, but is that the exact same Robocop machine I played in the video?
Absolutely. 100%.
That's what I thought.
That's the Papa Robocop.
So, fun fact for those of you who enjoyed the old classic game room pinball machine reviews back in the days when I was filming at Papa, the Professional and Amateur Pinball Association. That location is no more, but a lot of those games are here. And owned by Doug, the guy I'm talking to. And Doug also owns Kickback, and he worked with Papa back in the day, so we met years ago.
That's the original Robocop. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm late on my podcast this week, so I decided to go out and get a beer, and it gives me an excuse to go and play pinball.
You just make a bunch of work for you. That means you got to go play games.
Yeah, it's terrible. Hey, I gave a pro tip earlier in the video, the podcast. Gotta get used to this podcast thing. Is it bad that I said that if you have leftover tokens from Coupe de Ville and Kickback, they work here?
Not really.
Does that give you more of an inconvenience?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, so I'm the asshole that put like $10 worth of Coupe de Ville tokens.
The ones here are slightly larger than the other two, so they can get jammed in the other games. Sometimes.
Oh, okay. So you're not. You know what? Don't do. Strike what I said earlier. Don't do that. Doug says not to do that.
Pulp Fiction.
Oh, you got Pulp Fiction in.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right.
Right hand side.
Well then, I'm gonna go play that and some other. What? Should play Robocop. All right. Well, I was not expecting to run into Doug. One of these days we'll get him on the show. Doug runs the Pittsburgh Pinball Company that supplies all of these games. And a lot of these games are the ones that I reviewed from Papa way back when. These were the games from Papa. They were at Replay FX, which unfortunately had to close down a couple years ago. But this is the Robocop pinball machine that I played in the Robocop pinball machine review, one of my favorite reviews. And it's like an old friend. There's the Baywatch machine, Jackpot. We got all kinds of games from Papa in here. Except no Varcon or Orbiter 1. Apparently those didn't make it here.
In addition to quiz night, at least last night, Thursday night was also league night at Velum. So this place was hopping. There's people quizzing each other or whatever, a DJ. I didn't add everyone up, but there's like 50 people playing pinball and video games, beer is flowing, and there's pickleball courts. I mean, this just goes to show you that the solution to all of our problems in the world is beer and pickleball.
So they've got the brand new Pulp Fiction machine over there, but what I'm interested in right now is Quicksilver from Stern, classic Quicksilver, which I don't think I ever got on this show. I always wanted to. I saw this machine when I was doing the reviews at Papa way back when, 15 years ago. Maybe I got it on the show. I don't know, but I'm gonna play it again. It's a cool game. And then we got Revenge from Mars over here, and Stranger Things. We also got a bunch of arcade games. Pac-Man, Centipede, but I've already got Pac-Man and Centipede, so. Oh, hold on, I forgot that this was here. All right, I got a blast from the past for everybody. See if you remember this. It's Dragon! Bow! 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 Bow!
One of the neat things about Velum's arcade is the mixture of brand new pinball machines and classic pinball machines. So like right next to Star Wars and Deadpool, you'll find games like Dragon and Monaco and like super duper old school pinball machines that Doug's company maintains, so they actually work in a professional environment. Like these 50, 60-year-old games are still functioning. It's kind of like Papa, except, 1/100th the size. For those of you who remember what Papa was like.
Putting tokens into Pulp Fiction right now. Pulp Fiction's got a pretty old school style. Here we got Uma dancing. There's Samuel L. Jackson, John Travolta. That's Bruce Willis in the background. All right. Fire it up.
Come on, step cat.
You can get a steak here, Daddy-O.
Here's a tasty burger.
Got one game of Pulp Fiction. It's obviously pretty busy since it's brand new. Not enough to really talk about the game, but it's fun. Had a good time. And it's got a retro feel, but it's brand new, and it plays like it's brand new, and it's fun. I like it. But right now I'm going to play some Stranger Things, which is really a terrific pinball machine. One of the newer crop of Stern ones. And I'm logged in here with my Stern app. Kicked ass this machine last time I was playing it, and it's sitting right next to Bally's Paragon. I look up the artwork for that game online. Paragon is one of the wide body games with like this ridiculous fantasy art. I love it. Of course, that's sitting right next to Deadpool. But right now, some Stranger Things. These kids are all going to be like 40 years old by the time they ever finish that series.
Never really got a chance to talk about Stranger Things all that much. Talk about a show that was incredible in its first and second season. And yeah, I no longer pay for Netflix, and now I don't care. But, why would you watch Netflix when you can watch X-Men 97 on Disney? I mean, I'm just stating the obvious. You know who doesn't age out of their characters? Cartoons.
Standing in front of another game that was a terrific classic game room review and a very good game. Transporter: The Rescue from Bally. Play this for a little bit here. This was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that video, look that one up. Transporter: The Rescue. Stranger Things is a lot of fun. It's just one of those games that just plays well. You hit the Demogorgon breakout, you hit the thing, you drop the targets, you shoot the ball up into the middle where the drive-in theater is, the screen folds down, and then you shoot the ball into the Demogorgon's face, and like it goes into the upside down and stuff, and it's just a cool game. Whether or not you like the TV show, Stranger Things is definitely a cool machine, but right now I'm going to play Transporter. But I'm hungry! I have successfully transported my balls from one side of the machine to the other. And this game is so much fun. It's been a while since I played this. I keep wanting to say TX Sector. TX, 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 but Transporter is a different game. They're both very good. And I'm going to keep going here in my third ball. Might have gotten a free game, I don't know. Now that I have another beer, it's time to play more pinball. I'm playing some Jurassic Park. I'm going to feed some dinosaurs, because I suck at this game. And didn't take all my tokens. Get those tokens. Oh, it's because they're quarters. Save those for a different arcade. It's an easy mistake to make. On beer number 2. Let's see here. There we go. I gotta log in with my Stern account. If you want to find me on there, by the way, I'm Omega_Ronin is my Stern name. And well, I'm gonna go get my ass kicked in this game. It's fun though. Video game selection is Cruisin' World. We've got X-Men vs. Street Fighter. We've got Gauntlet Legends. We've got Mortal Kombat 2. We've got Pac-Man and Dark Silhouette. Silent Scope 2. In addition to Aliens, Extermination, a bunch of other games. This is great. This is like the best day of my life.
I would argue that Bill Murray would have never wanted to leave the endless loop if Groundhog Day took place in a brewery arcade. Stating the obvious. Oh, by the way, they also have a Big Lebowski machine here, and they rotate games in and out a lot, so depending on what year you're listening to this, the selection might be totally different. They had Halloween in there for a while. But I think I'm the only person on planet Earth who finds Big Lebowski boring. I know I hate to admit that, but I'd really much rather watch Robocop. Conveniently, I don't really have to choose because they have games based on both. And Silent Scope just reminds me of how much fun Dave and Buster's was when it first opened. I want to say that was like 1999 when I first encountered Dave and Buster's, and they had like the Ferrari F355 Challenge machine, and like it was just incredible. And I think it's just a bunch of ticket redemption stuff now. If you want the real games, you got to go find a brewery or a bar that has the real games.
Back here in the corner, we got Dirty Harry, Grand Lizard. It's just like the artwork on that machine just makes me think of Gauntlet. Gorgar, the artwork on that machine makes me think of something else. Blackout, it's pretty awesome. It's been a while since I played Blackout. Hoops and Roadshow. Now I need like science fiction or like 1970s porno fantasy, or some combination of those. So now I'm playing Deadpool, and you know my favorite part of Deadpool is that if you look in the background, in the animated screen when Deadpool's playing his own pinball machine, right behind him is Frenzy, the arcade machine. I have a Frenzy. I love that game, so it's nice to see the Frenzy reference in here. If it's good enough for Chuck Norris and Deadpool, it's good enough for you. Got to play several games of Quicksilver. Had a lot of fun. That's my favorite game aesthetically. Visually, it's a beautiful, beautiful machine, a real piece of art. My favorite game that I've played so far today has been Transporter. Stranger Things is a lot of fun. Deadpool. It's had a couple good Deadpool games. Having a blast. Going back in, maybe get some more Transporter in there. Maybe some more Quicksilver too. Oh, they're all so good.
As I'm recording this, realizing all this stuff took place like 12 hours ago. My favorite games for the evening were definitely Transporter, Quicksilver. Had a lot of fun in Stranger Things and Deadpool, and also Blackout. Blackout's really fun. It's a space game, not a game about going to Jack's until 2 in the morning.
Here's another one I forgot all about. From the Papa days, this is the same machine. It's Monaco. Watch the Monaco review. Classic Game Room Monaco review. It's another one of my favorites. I'm looking at the surfer girl there, and it's like someone's got a carpet problem. Yeah, and last but not least, you know what I gotta play. Someone's gotta kick Clarence Boddicker to the curb. For the public
So if you're just discovering this show on Spotify or something, 1,000 years ago, back before YouTube turned into complete garbage, I used to produce video reviews. Watch the Robocop one, Classic Game Room Robocop. I think that might be my finest hour. That and the Transporter video was good, and Monaco, and Xenon, but they don't have Xenon here, unfortunately. I'm going to have to pester Doug about that one. I wonder if he's got Xenon. I actually don't know. Doug has TX Sector, so that machine is still in the wild. Or the repair shop. One or the other. As I understand, they go to the repair shop frequently. Oh, and hey, Doug, I know you're listening to this one. Where's Baby Pac-Man? Baby Pac-Man is awesome. It combines Pac-Man and pinball, and it reminds me of Pizza Hut. And when I think of Pizza Hut, I think of a 64-ounce Coke in one of those red plastic cups and a deep dish pizza. Now, would Groundhog Day be a different movie if Bill Murray was in Pizza Hut?
The night is over. I'm out of tokens. I'm out of beer. And Robocop ate my ball.
Hey, brewery owners out there, you know how to get a bunch of Gen X nerds with disposable income into your location? That's right. Robocop. And Gorgar. And an arcade. And you don't even need like 50 games, just 2 will suffice. So thanks for listening. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week. How do I top Robocop and Deadpool and Silent Scope 2? I'm going to have to find a way, and I look forward to it. So I'll see you next week on Classic Game Room, the podcast. As always, thanks for following wherever you hear this podcast. I don't even know where it is anymore. It's somewhere out in the ether. The music is by Omega Ronin on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Bandcamp, all that kind of stuff. And you can find me on the Stern app or whatever, maybe, somehow. So you can see how crappy I am at pinball. But know that I'm having fun while losing. Getting eaten by dinosaurs has never been so groovy.